Reuben Carter's been in Miami. His Rattlers and the Hurricanes coming up on CSS. For the second time this week, the Miami Hurricanes defend the home turf under the lights of the Orange Bowl, again entertaining a team from the state capital and obviously out for better results than they had Monday night against the Florida State Seminoles. Good evening, welcome to the Orange Bowl. Along with Lamar Thomas, I'm Jason Solotkin, and not a lot of time for the Canes to bounce back after that heartbreaking loss to FSU Monday.
You know, after 5 days and only 1 day of practice, you know what? What could a doctor have ordered better than a Florida A&M, a Division I AA team, to come in here and maybe give the Hurricanes their first victory of the year?
And Lamar, both of these Sunshine State schools searching for their first victory. Miami's Larry Coker, Florida A&M's Reuben Carter, who once starred on this Orange Bowl field back in the 70s as a defensive tackle with the Canes. There you see an All-American and an inductee into the University of Miami Hall of Fame. Might be wishing at times tonight that he was back on the Hurricane sideline, Lamar.
You got to ask where his heart is. You know, of course, he wants to be down here, but also he wants to get a victory for his program.
And, of course, Larry Coker, you got to be tough as Teflon in Miami. Hearing it, the critics, both fans and media alike, after the loss to the Seminoles.
Well, you know, being a South Floridian, you got to understand that you can either win the game or lose the game. If you win, nobody cares. If you lose, they criticize.
A bounce-back opportunity for the Hurricanes against a Division I AA opponent, Florida A&M and the Miami Hurricanes, with kickoff coming up on CSS. And here we go with our kickoff from the Orange Bowl. The Miami Hurricanes, Brian Monroe to kick it off. He will not give an opportunity for the Rattlers to return. Roosevelt Kaiser, a South Florida native and one of the many local products on this Florida A&M team, back here in front of friends and family at the Orange Bowl. So it'll be Florida A&M's offense on the field first from their 20-yard line. Both of these teams unfortunately stumbled out of the gate here in 2006. The Miami Hurricanes, as you know, falling at home to their arch rivals, the Seminoles, 13-10, while Coach Reuben Carter's Rattlers were defeated by fellow Division I AA opponent Delaware State Saturday in Detroit. Florida A&M will start in the spread formation on offense with no less than 5 receivers and quickly a quarterback drawn, some running room up the middle. Going to be a first down and more for Florida A&M on the offense. That is Albert Chester II, their starting quarterback, obviously taking Miami by surprise.
Oh, yeah, they definitely took them by surprise there. You could tell by the way they lined up. You saw the Miami guys all looking at each other going, where do I line up? Who do I have? Kenny Phillips and those guys were trying to get checks. And, you know, hey, that happens on the first play of the ball game sometimes. You know, when they come out and show something they hadn't shown maybe on film, a different formation, it catches you off guard.
That's actually Leon Camel in at quarterback. There was question as to the status of Albert Chester. He injured 2 fingers on his non-throwing hand in the loss to Delaware State. Going to keep it again is Camel, rolling to his right. He's got a man, a completion, and another nice gain for Florida A&M on their opening drive here as the pass is completed to the tailback, Anthony Edwards.
But I got to tell you, this is to be expected. Every team that comes in here, and maybe I'm talking about in the old days, but every team that's coming here, the first couple of plays, they're going to give you what they got. They're going to give you, especially if you're a 1AA team, a team that's not even supposed to compete with the University of Miami, they're going to give you all the trickery, all the tomfoolery
That's right.
you might want to see on the first series.
Going to reach deep into their bag of tricks. Gain of 9 on first down for the Rattlers. They'll call it a 2nd and 1 from Florida A&M's 45. And the first running play will get them back to the line of scrimmage. You see Benson, the fullback, there on the handoff to Anthony Edwards, who had a fine performance. The one bright star for Florida A&M in the loss to Delaware State. Out of the backfield, gained 87 yards and scored 2 touchdowns. It was 2 early turnovers for the Rattlers that really caused their demise in their season opener. Take a look at the starting offensive line for Florida A&M, and as you might imagine, some matchups heavily tilted in favor of the Hurricanes, who have 3 outstanding defensive linemen as upperclassmen. In the backfield, the flanker Roosevelt Kaiser, South Florida native. We've already seen Anthony Edwards spelling Joe Lawson up the middle on a 3rd and 1, able to move the pile before the quarterback Camel is brought back, and we'll have to see how far the momentum brought him.
Well, there it is again. They tried to go on a quick count just to catch Miami off guard, spread you out, maybe get a play up the middle. And already they have more rushing yards than Florida State.
There you see the Hurricanes up front. Calais Campbell at the defensive end position made his first start against Florida State. Romeo Davis in the middle. John Beeson was a beast against the Seminoles in the loss Monday. And what a star secondary it is with the veteran safeties Merriweather and Phillips. Both cornerbacks played extremely well against Florida State Monday. They'll give them a first down, the drive alive, and a pass play towards the right sideline, incomplete and batted away into double coverage, and a late flag is thrown against the Miami Hurricanes. Kenny Phillips and Brandon Merriweather, the safeties, might be celebrating a little bit too early.
Actually, that penalty was probably for just hitting him too hard.
That's a new one, Lamar.
Hey, he lit him up on that play. That was definitely a penalty for hitting too hard. There was no celebration on that. You know, sometimes the Zebra can get a little overzealous for a great play, and that was definitely one of them.
Personal foul against Miami, another one on Florida A&M. They negate each other and they offset.
The offensive lineman, the tackle move right here. And watch this blow. Oh, yeah, I love it. I love that. That's what football is all about right there. Bring your chin strap, big boy. If you're coming to a Division I program, you got to buck that chin strap.
Kenny Phillips said, "Welcome to Miami," to the receiver, Willie Hayward. An incompletion. They're going to do the play over after the offsetting penalty. So 1st and 10, the ball on Florida A&M's 46. Again, out of the shotgun, this time a draw. Not much doing there. You see the monster defensive tackles for the Hurricanes, including the senior, Ryan Pata.
You know, I love to watch these kids when they come in here and they're trying to do their best to intimidate Miami. It's almost a false enthusiasm, a false sense of hope. You know, you see them down there jarring a little bit. A lot of these guys went to school. For some reason or not, they couldn't get into the University of Miami, you know. Maybe they weren't good enough, maybe grades or something like that. But they're also good athletes. Most of them from South Florida.
Lamar, we have got to focus in on the height of the starting quarterback for Florida A&M. A 5'6" junior, Leon Camel, can barely see over his center. A play action out of the backfield. The pass is complete to the fullback Benson, stumbling across midfield into the Hurricanes' 45-yard line.
Well, when you run play action and you do different tomfoolery type of trickery, you don't need to be tall. Because if you look at the play he threw downfield, it was a 3-step drop. And that play, it was a rollout. They faked it going left, and he just dumped it off.
Looking at the Hurricanes starting linebacker, John Beeson, 9 tackles to lead the Hurricanes in the effort against Florida State. 2.5 of those tackles for a loss. A gain of just 1 on the play of the pass out of the backfield to the fullback Benson.
Well, Beeson had an incredible game. You know, he played just as well as Buster Davis played. You know, those two were going back and forth, making big plays. And, you know, I really like this kid.
Davis earning plenty of honors, the Florida State middle linebacker, for his effort, many times blitzing right through that Hurricanes offensive line. We'll talk more about that when the Canes offense gets on the field.
And sometimes untouched, I might add.
Going to move it back after the penalty, call it a 2nd and 20. The Rattlers back now at their 37-yard line. Just underway, about 5.5 minutes into our opening period in the Orange Bowl. Florida A&M the first on the offense and have been impressive on their opening drive. Again, the quarterback, Campbell, going to keep it. Starts in the middle, shakes it to the left, and is tripped up at the 40-yard line.
We're trying to run a lot of different formations just to confuse Miami, make them line up in different sets, and that's, you know, that's what happens. If on the left side of the field, there was nobody covering one of the players.
Taking a look at the series history between these two schools, a lot made out of Florida A&M's victory against the Hurricanes in 1979 in their press notes. 5-1 series lead, and these teams haven't played in a few years. You know, this is a golden opportunity game for these Florida A&M players, both individually and as a team, with so much attention here for the Hurricanes. Off the blitz, they've got the pass complete, and again out of the backfield, it's Anthony Edwards. Before losing his helmet, a significant gain for Florida A&M.
They might have picked up the first down, and you know what that is? That's off of what they saw Florida State do. You know, the back goes to block, slips the back, slips the linebacker, slips out in the backfield, catches the pass, picks up yardage.
Anton Smith, really the bulk of those receiving yards out of the backfield for Florida State. This is a Hurricanes defense that only gave up 1 rushing yard to the Seminoles, 175 overall, but faltered down the stretch. The 10 points scored by the Seminoles in the 4th quarter.
Well, you can't really fault the defense. I got to tell you, you can't fault the defense. The defense played their hearts out. It's offense. You need your offense to come alive and do some things for it. Maybe put 3 more points on the board, maybe 7 more points, and the game is over.
After some early rain in South Florida this afternoon, the skies have cleared up, and it will be a first down for Florida A&M. So the Rattlers in Hurricanes territory. No score our first quarter here between Miami and Florida A&M on CSS. 10:16 to play in our first quarter. Florida A&M on the offense, the opening drive of the game, and in Hurricanes territory. 1st and 10 for the Rattlers, and again misdirection out of the backfield. The quarterback looking deep down the left sideline towards the end zone, and it is incomplete. For the Hurricanes, Glenn Sharp and Phillips, the safety, providing the coverage. First time we've seen Leon Campbell air it out, as the pass was slightly overthrown.
They don't have him stand in the pocket. He's not going to be a sitting duck. He's going to roll out. They slipped that time to slip the fullback out, brought him across the formation, tried to slip him out into the flat, and they also had a deep pass down there.
Tom DeJoseph, our referee. Keith Roden, the umpire. Take a look at this evening's officiating crew here in the Orange Bowl. A lot of speed you see out of the quarterback position with Leon Campbell. Again, spelling the starter, Albert Chester II, who suffered an injury in the opening game loss to Delaware State. Empty backfield on 2nd down. This time he turns around. It is deflected and nearly picked off for the Hurricanes over there. Eric Moncourt, the backup defensive end, snuffed that out right away.
Great play by Miami's defense. I think they're starting to settle down now. You know, like I said, every team comes in here and they give them a little something. You know, they're going to line up in different formations. Well, they have to lose. I don't think they really think they're going to win the game, but hey, why not give a great showing? And if Miami lets them stick around, who knows?
Eric Moncourt, the backup to Baraka Atkins. Let's take a look at his action.
He just split the seam right there. Oh, could have been nice.
So that brings up a 3rd and 10 from the Canes' 44-yard line. Again in the shotgun is Campbell. And we've got some early whistles and a bit of a surprising play call with the handoff to Anthony Edwards. Take a look at the defensive end, Calais Campbell, all 6'8" of them.
Well, you know, Florida A&M at this point, first quarter, no harm, no foul. They've moved the ball pretty good. Watch for maybe the fullback or running back delay again off the open set.
Lamar, I think you made the best point that nothing to lose attitude.
Correct.
I'm sure is something you went up against during your Hurricanes career when playing opponents seemingly overmatched at kickoff. A loss of 5 on the penalty. The Canes show blitz. Here they come. And the pass, it gets off, but very much thrown behind the intended receiver. Roosevelt Kaiser, perhaps their most dangerous threat, never had a chance as you saw the blitz come from the outside, and that forces a 4th and 15 and a punting opportunity for the Rattlers.
You know, it happens. That's what college football is all about. You give a team an opportunity like this, a chance of a lifetime. A lot of these kids will get maybe a chance in the back of their mind. The pro scouts might watch this game. Who knows? You know, it's an opportunity for them to maybe put on a good showing.
Florida A&M's punter is Wesley Taylor. He doubles as their kickoff man. He gets it off and towards the corner. It bounces inside the 10-yard line. And the Hurricanes will have pretty bad field position to start with after a fine opening drive and a nice punt by an All-American last year. That's Florida A&M's Wesley Taylor. Well, the Florida A&M Rattlers threatened on their first drive, got into Hurricanes territory. Miami starting from their 7, and it's Charlie Jones immediately to work out of the backfield. He crosses his 20-yard line, and a nice gain to get it started on the offense for UA.
Oh, that's great to see. That's great to see a running game finally picking up some yardage. Coming off of last week.
It was tough last Monday night. 2 yards rushing for the Hurricanes, obviously already surpassing that total on their first play. Approaching the 9-minute mark of the first quarter. Canes on their first drive, and Kyle Wright is looking up towards the official as the whistle blows.
Yeah, I'd say Charlie Jones played well last week. He had some great runs in the first half. That great touchdown run where he was able to cut back and extend the ball into the end zone.
Hurricanes on the offense, no score with the Canes and the Rattlers, and there is a handoff running to his right. Charlie Jones, he had a big gain on first down, took it from the 7 to the 20, and not as much doing right there as you get a look at Florida A&M's left outside linebacker Daniel Shepard. Jones, tough yards against Florida State, but the Canes as a team, 2 total rushing yards, and even those 2 didn't come easily, Lamar.
He was the offensive star as far as rushing the football. A lot of lost yards, and especially in the second half. Quarterback sacks, a lot of things factored into that poor rushing total.
They send the receiver Lance Leggett in motion to the left, and again a handoff and a big hole for Jones. Jones has it, running with the football to the left side. He's tripped up, but not before he crosses the 35-yard line for the Hurricanes. Here's Charlie Jones, the junior, out of Homestead and South Dade High School. Just 5 nights removed from taking a lot of punishment against the Florida State defensive line. Had a big hole right there.
Great blocking there at the point of attack. Great stiff arm. He's always been a consistent back. You know, he's not very flashy, but he gets you the tough yards when you need them.
Missed opportunity for the cornerback Michael Creary out of Deerfield Beach to make a tackle. You saw Jones run right through it. First down for the Hurricanes from their 37. Here's Kyle Wright to pass over the middle. It's complete at the 50. Immediately taken down there is Lance Leggett. On the money, an accurate pass by Kyle Wright, the junior out of Danville, California. And there is Michael Creary, that time able to bring the offensive player down. Creary, a 5'9" freshman. Taking a look at the Canes starting lineups, the difference up front. Chris Rutledge replaces the injured Reggie Youngblood. The senior is the center, Anthony Walschlager. We've seen Jones already prominently in this first drive. The receivers Leggett and Jenkins. There's Jones again, right across midfield. Some tough yards into Florida A&M territory.
Has to be pretty tough. I remember playing against these guys. Sometimes you get a little, you see orange and green. You don't know who it is. Yeah, exactly.
Starting defensive line, Tyrone McGriff, a pretty good one at right end. Williams Wooten and Carlos Roll. The linebackers, Vernon Wilder in the middle out of Miami's Carroll City. Cornerbacks are Johnson and Creary, who we've seen, Ernest Williams, and Jason Beach, the Rattlers safeties. Gain of 3 on first down, and Wright's going to pass on a 2nd and 7. Again, looks over the middle and well overthrown. We didn't really see the tight ends involved in the offense against Florida State, and of course that includes Greg Olson Monday night.
Yeah, he was a no-show, I think. I mean, he was out there, they just didn't get it to him enough. And on that last play, they tried to throw actually a skinny post to Darnell Jenkins. That's something that Kyle's going to have to work on, trying to get that ball down, not letting it sail too high. I mean, on that could have been detrimental if a safety had been back there, but luckily for the Canes, it ended up being an incompletion.
We saw his numbers from the opener against the Noles. The interception sealed it late in the 4th quarter. Out of the shotgun, 3rd and 7. Wright takes his time. Wide open is Darnell Jenkins, a first down completion for the Hurricanes.
That's something they're going to be able to get all night long, because Florida A&M knows they can't match up one-on-one with these guys. So they're going to have to back up. A lot of cushion out here. Kyle's going to get his opportunity to throw the football. You know, one thing I've noticed about Kyle, he throws the ball a lot to the short side of the field. Watch as the game goes on. That's something that he's going to have to work on. Sometimes you have to make that throw to the wide side of the field.
He's got the arm strength, there's no question.
A lot of quarterbacks sometimes get a little antsy about doing that because it's such a big play if he's late.
One man in the backfield is the freshman James, but again, another pass play and a hard hit. The cornerback Michael Creary and the linebacker Daniel Shepard remove the helmet of Darnell Jenkins, who shows a full head of hair for the fans watching at home.
I told you, there it is, short side of the field again. He's going to have to work on throwing the football to the hash mark. Here it is, short side of the field. Darnell does a good job of concentrating, making the catch. He knows he's going to get hit.
Well, Jenkins and Leggett both performed well in the 2nd quarter.
Correct. Against
Florida State, and a 27-yard gain against the Seminoles also similarly came in this location down the sideline on the short side of the field. An obvious flag there. We'll see if the Hurricanes had movement along the offensive line. This one's going against Albert Williams, Florida A&M starting defensive tackle.
A hard count.
The poor right guard Morse, he didn't know what hit him. Said, "Can I just please do my job?"
Simon says, don't jump.
First and 10 for the Hurricanes, and Wright hands it off. There's the freshman James, cuts to his right across the 20, 15-10, still on his feet, and he plunges forward across the 5-yard line. The true freshman out of Immokalee, Javaris James, as the Hurricane coaches clearly said he would get more opportunities earlier than he did against the Seminoles.
Well, this is the game he's supposed to play in. This is the game where he's supposed to get his opportunity, not last week when the game's on line, you backed up at the 5-yard line. I mean, I'm no coach, but I'm not going to put a true freshman in at that time, and you saw what happened, but this is a game where he can get that confidence.
He's got some pretty good bloodlines, and I saw a similar cut to his cousin Edgerrin. Again, James, this time he's brought down by his ankles at the 1-yard line. And I know the comparisons are inevitable as you take a look at Javaris, but that was the one thing that struck me immediately when watching Edgerrin here at Miami, even as a true freshman, not so much the north and south running, but the east and west cutbacks.
He has a little wiggle now. You know, you got all the great backs have a little wiggle, and he, you know, here it is in time. This kid could be great. I don't know if he'll be as great as his cousin. Who knows? He could be. But that's something they've marved over, that this kid had it and has it, and he's going to show it.
Second and goal from the 1. There it is up the middle. Charlie Jones, he is showing strength. And for the second time this week, he scores the Hurricanes' first touchdown. He did it against the Seminoles, and he does it in the same end zone on the closed end of the Orange Bowl. The first points of the game belong to Charlie Jones and the Canes.
Straight up the middle. Watch the cut right there. Now, that's just power. That's just power. That's just power. You got to have that want to get in the end zone, and he showed it right there.
Just overpowering the linebacker, Michael McMillan, number 4.
It's one-on-one in the hole. That's what you want as a defensive guy, and as a running back. You want to see who wins that battle.
John Petty on the field to attempt the point-after conversion, but not before some whistles. We saw and we heard plenty of whistles in the opener Monday night. Hurricanes leading 6-0. 5:07 to play here in the first quarter. Charlie Jones, his second touchdown of the season, had a 4-yard run to account for the Canes' only score against Florida State. And up in the booth, the officials want to take a second look at the touchdown.
You know, the fans are booing because they want to hurry up and get to halftime to see the band.
And who could argue the marching 100 in attendance here this evening?
I got to tell you, as a kid, man, I used to go to all the Florida A&M games just to watch the band. We'd leave right after halftime.
They are tucked away underneath the overhang here in the Orange Bowl, the marching 100. Florida A&M's football team made the bus ride down from Tallahassee. They boarded the buses early Friday morning. Let's see if we can find out what the officials are reviewing.
Let's see. Here, I mean, this is just power right here. There should be no question about that. Well, you know what? He's in. He's in. I told you.
And there is the call.
I think I'm 2 for 2 this year.
You didn't have a chance to applaud the first time around. The officials want to make sure that you could celebrate the touchdown. And so John Petty is on to attempt the point after for the Miami Hurricanes. And there will be some options in the backfield. You see there Tyrone Moss available to the Miami Hurricanes. He was limited in practice. All of a sudden, a bevy of options for Larry Coker, Charlie Jones, Javaris James, and the returning veteran Tyrone Moss.
Much has been made of Tyrone Moss being suspended for the opening game. Coker made a stand. You know, whether it was sent down from Shalala, you know, they're very strict over there on academics. You look at what Miami's done, turned the program around as far as kids graduating. That's very important. So if you miss study hall, you miss class, you can't play.
There's the point after by John Petty. And the Miami Hurricanes now have a lead of 7-0, defending the home turf against Florida A&M.
Due to time constraints, we now move forward in the action.
Taking a look at Shepard and the height and weight. Shepard, a junior out of Cincinnati. Here's a 2nd and 10. Wright is looking to pass. Nobody open. Rolls to his right and delivers towards the sideline. A tippy-toe catch is made by Lance Leggett.
I think he got in. I think he made a catch. There you go. Give it to him. Lance Leggett has really worked on his concentration during the offseason. Here's a broken play. Lance ran a comeback corner over here. He's open. Kyle buys himself more time, and here's the arm strength. There you go. Hey, good catch.
Leggett wasn't the first option, but you saw he had some room along the sideline. Fine pass and catch. And another pass for the Hurricanes over the middle. It's complete, and there is the tight end, Greg Olson. The cynic can say he was a forgotten man, but Florida State had him well covered Monday night after what he did to him last year.
Double covered. You got to double cover. One of the easiest throws from a quarterback is your tight end. You know, it's an easier throw. So you double cover him, make the quarterback beat you by throwing it outside.
Olsen only 2 catches for 8 yards in the loss to Florida State. And, of course, last year against the Seminoles had 8 catches for 137 yards.
And then was basically forgotten for the rest of the year. Here's one of the best tight ends in the country. Has great hands. As you saw on that last catch, what great extension going up to get the football, catching it at his highest point, pulling it down. And when he catches the football, he's a threat to take it all the way. Great running skills.
Following in the path of great tight ends before him, and there have been plenty for the Miami Hurricanes. Shockey, Winslow, and Franks, to name a few. Kyle Wright under center for the Hurricanes on offense. He'll call this a 2nd and 1. And Wright is looking to pass. And he has a man, again, the tight end, Greg Olson, running to his left. Olson across the 30, has room on the left sideline at the 20, still on his feet and out of bounds close to the 15-yard line. Lamar Thomas, you had just mentioned, yards after the catch is made.
Yak. Yards after catch. This guy, not only is he has great hands, but he can scoop with the football. He can run. I don't know what his 40 time is, but I would say it would at least be under a 4.5 because he can move. He can do a lot of different things. If we've seen when he catches the ball, he looks to score.
An obvious candidate for the John Mackey Award, Greg Olson. Season begins, and he's right there at the top of the list among tight ends in NCAA football. First down, running play. Charlie Jones cuts it up the middle, across the 10 and across the 5. Towards the 4-yard line. He's been the workhorse, Charlie Jones.
Good cut by Charlie Jones. You know, one thing Charlie Jones does, he runs north and south. Not much east and west. He has a little shiftiness, but it's more north and south. He's not going to give you the round the corner. They don't run him on sweeps, but they do run him up the middle.
Second quarter action here. The Hurricanes on the offense, and a first down for Kyle Wright, and a handoff. Met in the backfield, spins away from the defender on his feet across the goal line for a touchdown, his 2nd of the evening.
That's just want. That's want to get in the end zone right here. Somehow the play breaks down. The end blitzes over there. The corner blitzes. Charlie Jones, so powerful, so strong. Once you hit him, he continues to run. Here it is right here. Little counter play they've run so successfully so many times, but that time Florida A&M had it stuffed out. He makes a big run.
Potential loss instead turns into the Hurricanes' 2nd touchdown. Petty's point after puts Miami ahead of Florida A&M 14-0 early in the 2nd quarter from the Orange Bowl. The kickoff is returned. Florida A&M has it across the 25-30-yard line. And a kickoff that was bouncing into the awaiting hands of number 84, Derek Williams. And Florida A&M will have a 1st and 10, and they'll mark it at the 31-yard line. Boy, Lamar, you talk about the size of these Rattlers, many times position to position against Miami overmatched, but a lot of speed and quickness. You see him holding his hand, the return man for Florida A&M, Derek Williams. And clearly on their first drive, they had Miami on their heels, showing some of that quickness, and we'll see if some of these formations can gain them many yards. Out of the backfield, another completion for Camel.
They've run that play pretty successful a couple of times. They just sneaked it back out of the backfield off of like a counter roll action, and it's a good formation to run that play.
A 10-play scoring drive. Both drives have been at least 60 yards for the Hurricanes, resulting in Charlie Jones touchdowns. That one 5 yards after seemingly he was wrapped up in the backfield by the Florida A&M linebacker.
Actually, it was a defensive end. You know, they wear some funky numbers over there at Florida A&M, and you've seen a linebacker 5'9", 180. The defensive end, Tyrone McGriff, had him wrapped up. He's 6'1", 231. I thought it was a cornerback.
Florida A&M goes to an empty backfield. The pass goes behind on the line of scrimmage and across the 40 to the 45. Ball comes loose, but I think the receiver, Roosevelt Kaiser, had been down. If you're a Hurricane defense and you had so much in terms of preparation, as you take a look at Glenn Cook, the linebacker, and you only have 5 days to prepare for Florida A&M, granted, you're expected to win the game, but it must be difficult to get ready as a defense.
Well, the good thing about it, this is going to give them practice on different formations, and you can see how they will be able to adjust on the run. Randy Shannon is a great defensive coordinator. He knows exactly what to do. It's patience. As long as you don't give up the big play.
The pre-snap movement is something to behold, the choreography of which we'll probably see at halftime with the marching band. This time the quarterback, Leon Camel, keeps the football and is run out of bounds along the right sideline.
They run that play a couple of times. At that time, the quarterback decided to keep. They've snuck the running back out of the backfield on like a counter waggle play. That time he decided to keep the football. Kind of surprised Miami. He was able to outrun the defensive end and beat him.
Leon Camel, not the starting quarterback heading into the season for Florida A&M. Last week in the loss to Delaware State, it was Albert Chester, but he injured 2 fingers on his left hand. He was severely limited in practice, and he gives way to the junior out of Belle Glade, the 5'6" Leon Camel, who wants to pass off his back foot over the middle. A dangerous throw, incomplete, intended for the tailback, Anthony Edwards.
Once again, same play Florida State, the middle screen, throwing it to the back, who blocks first, slips the linebacker, catches the football. That time Miami did a good job of clogging it up, making the quarterback, because he's only 5'6", he's going to have to make a perfect lob pass to get it over the defensive lineman.
There you see Camel's numbers as he consults with Albert Chester II.
There it is. You see the back. There he is. He's waiting. Now he has to make a now, see, that's the problem. Those guys are tall. He's going to have to lob it over their heads.
Punt on a 4th and 3 for Florida A&M. And for Miami, it's Johnson across the 15 and not much more. Tries to stay on his feet, but he's brought down. Florida A&M's number 55, Gregory Bowler, outside linebacker and special team star, brings down Bruce Johnson. The Miami Hurricanes, 1st and 10 from their 22-yard line. Nice crowd on hand here for the Hurricanes, giving the fans a second showing of this football team in a 5-night span. Kyle Wright, a first down pass for the Canes. He's got Lance Leggett, not much after the catch. Tackle made for Florida A&M by number 18, Gregory Clark, a junior cornerback out of Tampa.
And that time, Kyle threw a slant to the wide side of the field. Good job by Kyle. Good job by Lance securing the catch. That's something that he's, like I've said before, he's worked on that all summer long, trying to make sure he makes the catch.
Well, the domination in the statistical department of total yardage, Miami over Florida A&M. A gain of 7 on the completion to Leggett. This time a running play. Juking left and right, Javaris James. And he will have a Hurricanes first down. James, the backup tailback, a true freshman, had only 3 yards on 3 carries against the Seminoles. You see Florida A&M's defenders, Joseph Wims, shaking their heads.
And he has a look at the wiggle. There it is. See the little hesitation? He has a little wiggle to him. You know, it's like pushing the R1 and R2 button. You know, R1 and L1 button on Madden or college football. I play a lot of that. There it is, flashing up to you, baby.
Javaris wearing that familiar number 5 as a tribute to his cousin Edgerrin. Another pass for Kyle Wright. Nobody open. He's going to keep it. Runs up the middle. And a short gain for the Hurricanes quarterback Kyle Wright, who was under heavy pressure Monday night versus Florida State. He's brought down after no gain.
Boy, he looked a little like Drew Weatherford on that play. You know, he's able to shake off defenders and pick up positive yards. Unlike on Monday night against Florida State, he was going backwards. That time he decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to tuck it and pick up what I can. And that's what you need. You don't need to go backwards.
Actually, a gain of 3 for Kyle. Kyle Wright sacked 3 times by that fierce Florida State front Monday. Again, a handoff. Javaris James as a defender riding his neck. Hard to believe. Not that long ago, Javaris, a senior in high school, and here's some of the punishment absorbed by Miami against Florida State.
Miami playing well on defense. They did a lot of good things on defense. You see it right here, and this is a big play. They got the interception. There was the phantom block in the back, and from that point on, things just went downhill.
Brandon Merriweather interception, the lone turnover, the lone takeaway for the Hurricanes did not result in a score. 3rd and 4 after the run by James and a completion to Lance Leggett into Florida A&M territory. Actually, Darnell Jenkins with the catch for Miami before the tackle is made.
You like to see that, those receivers catch the football. Last year, there was a lot of talk about the inconsistency of the Miami receivers catching the football. They made a lot of changes this year. Now, is it up to the receiver coach to make those changes? New receiver coach coming in? I don't think so. It's up on the players. Marquise Mosley, the new wide receivers coach, it's on the players. You got to want to catch the football.
More left and right motion. Javaris James dragging the defender. And Javaris, much better performance, as you might imagine here, against the Rattlers than he showed in his debut Monday night versus the Florida State Seminoles. The U, the University of Miami, a 14-0 lead. Javaris James has been the featured runner on this drive after 2 touchdowns earlier in the half by Charles Jones. Here's a pitch out. First time we've seen that play, running left. And James over one defender, Michael Creary, gains another yard or 2. And taking advantage of his opportunities tonight is James. Lamar, you don't know how much longer he will be that high on the depth chart with the impending return of Tyrone Moss, who is suited up for tonight's game.
Well, Moss, as we well know, is your workhorse. Last year had a phenomenal year up until the injury, and he will be back. You know, will we see him tonight? Who knows? An injury down on the field.
We'll check the number and report back. Looks like an offensive lineman down for the Hurricanes. And that is a replacement for the Hurricanes, an injury replacement. The left tackle, Chris Rutledge, who got the start after Reggie Youngblood suffered a sprained ankle in the loss to Florida State. And if Miami has to go further down the depth chart, you might see a junior, number 73, Siram Wims, into the game. Appears to be walking it off, though.
That's a big boy. 6'5", 325. Freshman, a lot of freshmen getting an opportunity to get their feet wet.
Rutledge experience at both tackle positions for Miami. In fact, backed up the starter at right tackle in 4 games last year. Hurricanes moving it down at the Rattlers' 32-yard line now. One man in the backfield, Wright looking to pass, flushed out and throws it complete out of the backfield for Miami. The first time this season we've seen the number 30, the senior out of Pompano Beach, Tyrone Moss.
And he gets an ovation. Welcome back, Mr. Moss.
Moss, of course, working his way back from an injury. He was one of the top running backs in the ACC last year before suffering a torn ACL to his left knee. That came in the 8th game against Virginia Tech. Been a long road back. Not the first running back at the U to have to fight back from injury. And Tyrone back on the field. And this time Moss gets it out of the backfield. He shows some moves in the backfield, but has a hard time getting back to the line of scrimmage. A couple of Florida A&M defenders are there, including number 28, the free safety, Jason Beach.
You know, it's going to be interesting to see if he can rebound after coming back last year, losing weight. You know, he lost weight, looked slim, looked very good in those earlier ball games. You know, you just never know how a guy recovers from such a serious knee injury.
He served his suspension, sidelined for the Florida State game Monday night. This was the one he circled during his recovery. He knew he wouldn't be playing against the Noles, and back in action for the Canes. The lone man behind right in the backfield on a 3rd and 4. A quick drop and a pass completed to Darnell Jenkins on the right sideline. Immediately wrapped up, but not before it appears Jenkins gives the Hurricanes another first down.
And guess what? Moves to the short side of the field. That's something that Cal's going to have to work on. Miami coaches, you know, you see Rich Olson there. You know, he's going to have to throw to the wide side of the football field. What's going to happen is some of the better teams are going to figure that out, and they're going to start rotating the coverage to the short side and making him have to throw that pass, put the ball in there and throw it to the wide side of the field.
And if they have a star at cornerback, I would imagine he'd line up on the short side of the field. They send a man in motion to the left. That's Sam Shields, the freshman. A play action has Wright rolling out to his right. Under pressure into the end zone and incomplete. Thrown out of the corner of the end zone. That was the man in motion, and a guy you spoke to, the true freshman Sam Shields, who many of the fans in attendance think of that drop pass against Florida State in the crucial stages Monday night.
Well, I just introduced myself to him, and you know, I told him, I said, hey, I've been there. You're probably going to go places where I've been and all the other great ones have been. You got to shake it off, young man. Unfortunately, you were put in a situation where you're a true freshman straight out of high school. Not a lot of people got that opportunity. And you just make the best of it, you shake it off. Hey, the worst is over. Just move on now.
Lamar, you put yourself
timeout
in his shoes.
Florida
and we'll
A&M.
talk about what you
Second
might have been
charge,
feeling
timeout.
in that kind of game against Florida State. But first, a timeout on the field. Canes threatening again, leading 14-0 over the Rattlers. Well, many Miami Heat fans familiar with this guy for his entertaining antics during the Miami Heat games. DJ Irie in the house tonight, entertaining the Hurricane fans. The incompletion to Shields on first down. Stumbling back is Wright, but he has it complete. Javaris James across the 20, 15-10, towards the end zone. His first touchdown as a Miami Hurricane, the true freshman, Javaris James. We spoke about the incompletion to the 18-year-old true freshman, Sam Shields. Here's another true freshman, Javaris James, quickly indoctrinated to the college game and making an impact tonight.
Nice little swing pass here set up. Kyle almost falls down, but he has presence of mind to regain his balance and deliver a beautiful strike out to James, who takes it in for a touchdown.
All 3 touchdowns scored by Canes running backs. Charles Jones with 2. And the true freshman out of Immokalee, Javaris James, as the Hurricanes leading 21-0 as Wright regains his balance and the Hurricanes beginning to pour it on here in the first half. Under 6 minutes to go in our first half. The Javaris James touchdown has Miami ahead 21-0 when Rose kick off into the end zone after a hesitation. Here comes a return for Florida A&M, Roosevelt Kaiser. And Kaiser in the middle of the field across the 10 towards the 12-yard line.
Kaiser there trying to make something happen, you know. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Roosevelt, product of South Florida. As you take a look at Javaris James, the touchdown went 22 yards, and have to be impressed with the speed of this youngster.
And you see him right there getting maybe his knee looked at, maybe cramps. I know my first collegiate touchdown was down in the corner in the end zone against San Jose State. The only play I played after that, I sprained my ankle.
But it was a magical memory, nevertheless.
It definitely was.
A quick drop and a strike at the 10 to the right side, complete. And there he is again, Roosevelt Kaiser, a senior and a playmaker out of Fort Lauderdale and Boyd Anderson. He led the Rattlers last week in their loss as the tackles made by Glenn Sharp. Kaiser last week, 10 catches and 55 yards against Delaware State.
The numbers are misleading. 10 catches, 55 yards. It's not a lot, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you might touch the ball 10 times, but it's not a lot of yards to pick up.
Kaiser said as a youngster, he always dreamed about playing here in the Orange Bowl. There you see his numbers last year as a junior. leading the conference, a gain of 5. And here comes a run off a delay. The quarterback, Camel, a few yards on second down, lying on his back. This also a game, Lamar, you look at different psychological factors for the Hurricanes coming off the bitter loss to Florida State. It'll be another tough opponent coming up next week on the road against Louisville, and you want to have some strut, you want to have some confidence heading into that contest.
And the good thing about it, Louisville runs a sort of similarity of a spread offense, so this gives Miami some practice in the spread offense.
5'6", Florida A&M quarterback Leon Camel approaches the line under center. This is a 3rd and 1, and again they go to an empty backfield. Miami hinting at a blitz. 5 men stacked up against the line as the play clock winds down. The quarterback keeps it. Had a hole between his center and his right guard before the tackle is made. Calais Campbell on top of that pile. As we look back, Javaris receiving some treatment after his touchdown run for the Canes. The pass play from Kyle Wright, who stumbled out of the backfield. Another long drive. They've been 80-plus, 60-plus, and 70-plus, the 3 touchdown drives. And that's Dr. Uribe.
Yeah.
It's one thing when the trainer looks at you.
He's done a couple surgeries on yours truly right here.
Yeah. Myself as well, unfortunately. But you always have to be a little nervous when you see him attending to a player like James. Camel's run, good for a first down, and he's throwing on first down, a completion.
Boy, Merriweather was right there. If Washington leads him just a little bit more, it could have been an interception. He was right there. He was waiting on that. They ran like a wide receiver's drive play. Quarterback just hit him right in the numbers. Merriweather made the tackle. I like Merriweather. For a safety to be able to go down in the box and cover like last week, Chris Davis, all game long. That says a lot about what type of playmaker he is. In the same, you can mention him in the same breath as an Ed Reed.
Playmaker, guy that has versatility as a safety, has experience in the nickel package, covering receivers as well. Under pressure, Camel throws left side, overthrown. Closest man to the ball is the wide receiver Gerard Morgan, but under pressure was Camel. And again, Drew Weatherford of Florida State, the quarterback, not sacked by the Canes Monday night, and pretty good elusiveness in the pocket for Florida A&M's quarterback Leon Camel as well. Those defensive linemen have got to be getting anxious.
Oh yeah, he's a little guy too, so it's hard to see him
squirt out from him.
Yeah, he can squirt out like a running back. Glenn Sharp did a great job of jamming the receiver last time. That's why that pass was overthrown. He got his hands. He was able to get his hands on the receiver, delay him a little bit.
Inside of 3 minutes, again, pre-snap motion on offense. Florida A&M rolling to his right. Leon Camel throws it sideline, caught, but short of a first down. Willie Hayward again, the junior, and another local product out of Miami's Northwestern High School.
That was a blown coverage there. You see the guys are arguing over who was supposed to be out there. They ran a little stag right out there where the inside receiver ran to the sideline, stopped, and just waited on the completion as they rolled out towards him.
There's another look at Brandon Merriweather, preseason All-American, and up front for the Hurricanes. A punting formation on 4th and 1. The completion came up short. And so for the Rattlers, Wesley Taylor back at his 20. Did they get it off in time? Apparently not. Whistles blow. And looks like a delay of game penalty
Good
coming
ball.
up.
Delay of game. Number 20 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Those are the kinks that Miami suffered against the Seminoles that unfortunately you'd rather see them suffer against a team like Florida A&M, unfortunately coming a week late, and this infraction by the Rattlers. But those are the mistakes that had Larry Coker fuming Monday night.
Well, opening game of the season. It's just unfair. Now, you know, you look at Florida, you look at, you know, some of these other schools that had the tune-ups, the tune-up games. You know, unfortunately for Miami, it's coming in the second game. What a punt.
Taylor gets it off. He's an All-American and shows why. Darnell Jenkins has some room, though. Across the middle, over 20, takes it to the right side, tries to cut back, unable to do so. Tackle was made by Florida A&M's Anthony Johnson and number 17, Leroy Van as well.
Got the win behind him on that one.
2:40 to play in our first half. The mistakes I'm talking about, Lamar, 2 men on the field Monday night during an early punt return. A fourth quarter drive that had a player running out from the sideline late as another lineman started early. Those are the ones that are harder to excuse than a play like Sam Shields perhaps dropping a football.
Correct. This is a great opportunity for Miami right here to work on their 2-minute drill because you're going to need it sooner or later. There was opportunity last week, this week on Monday night, for Miami to successfully drive the ball with under 2 minutes to go, and they came up short.
Illegal
way
substitution on the offense.
And
too many men broke the huddle.
Just as we speak about it,
penalty.
one of those pre-snap penalties against UM.
That's not good. That's not good. Second game of the season. Those are some of the kinks that should be worked out. And I know Larry Coker is over there saying, come on, guys, let's get it together now.
You have new coaches, you have new players, true freshmen, but that's what you have preseason practices and scrimmages for. Larry Coker, you can see the frustration on the headset. Not speaking to the offensive coordinator, Rich Olson, who joins him on the sideline, but perhaps quarterback's coach, Todd Berry, in the press box. So, as Lamar mentioned, here comes a 2-minute drive for the Hurricanes. Over the middle, incomplete. You have 2 receivers in the vicinity, the veteran Jenkins and the freshman Shields.
That doesn't look good. When that type of situation happens, when both guys are pointing at each other going, it was to you. No, it was to me. No, it was to you. That's not good.
And for the Hurricanes, we see the quarterback is now Kirby Freeman into the game for Kyle Wright. Freeman with the incompletion there on first down. Just might be an opportunity to get some playing time. Team up 21-0. Freeman considered transferring in the offseason before committing himself fully to the U and getting some playing time here late in the second quarter, operating the 2-minute drive and his first completion of the season. And it's Darnell Jenkins, the senior, on the sideline.
Good throw by Kirby there, throwing it into the 2-man coverage. Good job by Darnell Jenkins, getting to his depth and coming back to the football, giving his quarterback a big target.
It's going to be a 3rd down and 8 for Kirby Freeman, who reviews the plays on his wristband. Freeman appeared in 9 games last year as a reserve to Kyle Wright. He's back as a redshirt sophomore, wearing the number 7 and in the shotgun. As one man flanked to his left, Florida A&M showing blitz, and here they come. Plenty of time to throw, though, over the middle, intercepted by Florida A&M. And back for the Rattlers, still on his feet towards the 35-yard line. The interception is made by Jason Beach, the starting free safety.
Ball sailed a little high there. It looked as though Lance Leggett was running a square in. Here it is, Kirby drops back. Looking over the field, he's eyeing his receiver down the whole way. It was over his head or either behind him.
Lance Leggett, the closest receiver, and all of a sudden, instead of Miami with a 2-minute drill in the works, it's Florida A&M with 1:50 to play here in Hurricanes territory.
He's eyeing his receiver the whole time. That ball was way too high for Lance.
So Jason Beach with the interception, his first of the season, the redshirt sophomore out of Pensacola. Rattlers have it on offense, and look out. That's Leon Camel, the quarterback, and ended up on his backside. You get a good look at the 6'2" sophomore Jason Beach.
He'll remember that probably for the rest of his life. Right? You know, guys that come in this Orange Bowl, get an opportunity to play against the great University of Miami. It's a big game for him.
Gain of 1 for Camel. Approaching a minute now in the first half. Rattlers will have to hurry up the offense to at least give themselves an opportunity to kick a field goal. That one thrown behind the line to the right side, Kaiser. Kaiser across the 35-yard line had his bell rung. Florida A&M has 1 timeout left. They'll hurry back to the line of scrimmage, and they will burn the timeout, I believe, with 46 seconds to play. Under a minute to play, Rattlers out of timeouts. Camel rolls to his right, looks downfield, going to keep it, showing some speed, breaks it to the left across the 30 and slides might be a little bit shy of the first down marker, and depending on the spot, you could have a decision coming up for Rattlers coach Carter as you take a look at the Canes outside linebacker John Beeson.
That time Miami read the play, the same rollout play they've had where the inside receiver goes out to the sideline, sits out there in the zone coverage. Quarterback decided to cut it back across field, made a good decision not to throw an interception, giving his offense a chance to maybe score some points.
Second-year head coach, former Hurricane star Reuben Carter, facing a 4th and inches. Hasn't had to make a decision yet. Again, all out of timeouts. Carter went on and starred in the NFL, appeared in a pair of Super Bowls for the Denver Broncos, and brought in as the head coach for the Rattlers last year to replace Billy Joe. And there you see, as we projected, just a few chain links shy of the first down. And they will go for it. Well, as we're down to 27 seconds.
They don't have any timeouts. No, they're going to kick it because they don't have any timeouts. Even if they make it, the thing is they don't have any timeouts. So here it is. Let's see what Miami field goal block has to offer this year. The program has been very successful. Yeah, been very successful at field goal block.
Well, you're right. Wesley Taylor will attempt a field goal of about 45 yards from the left hash. The snap and the hold, and the kick is up. Plenty of leg behind it, and it is good. So the All-American kicker Wesley Taylor has the Rattlers on the board. Florida A&M taking advantage of the Kirby Freeman interception into the hands of Beach, and the Rattlers have something positive to talk about in the locker room with 9 seconds left, getting set to kick it off. Wesley Taylor, squib kick towards the left side, going to stay in bounds. Canes, Bruce Johnson picks it up across the 20 and runs into a few defenders at the 25-yard line. That'll be it for our first half, but not before a Wesley Taylor 45-yard field goal puts the Rattlers on the board. The Marching 100 will represent Florida A&M as Larry Coker leads the troops into the locker room. It's the Hurricanes 21, Florida A&M 3, halftime in Miami.
Due to time constraints, we now move forward in the action.
Second half action underway. The view from the field with Miami on the offense after an incomplete pass to the tight end Olsen and a gain of 4 for Tyrone Moss. Kyle over the middle, complete. Darnell Jenkins running to the right side, still on his feet. Down the sideline, knocked out of bounds at the 41-yard line, and that'll give the Hurricanes a first down. We saw some game breakers in the first half out of the running back position with Charlie Jones and Javaris James. We'd like to see some electrifying plays out of the wide receiver position perhaps in the second half.
Well, you got to establish that, because what's going to happen now, teams are going to load the box up against Miami because they haven't shown that they have anybody, to make those big plays. That's a good play by Darnell Jenkins, but I would have loved to see him try to cut that ball back once he got to the sideline and pick up more yardage.
First down play, Miami at its 42-yard line with two backs staggered behind Kyle Wright. Fakes the handoff. Canes pick up the blitz. Gives Wright time over the middle, but incomplete. Intended for Lance Leggett.
Boy, if he throws that on the money, Lance is gone. Off to the races. You're not going to catch this kid. He's a strider. He has so much potential. Won a couple meets this summer. The 400, 400-meter hurdles. ACC champion.
Kyle Wright again was replaced late in the first half by Kirby Freeman, who threw an interception, led to the Florida A&M field goal. Kyle back operating the offense, and there's Tyrone Moss on his feet across midfield through one defender before he's brought down out of the secondary. Tackle made by Vic Arboleta.
Watch the block here by Lance Leggett. One of the things receivers have to do. Good cut here by Tyrone Moss. Good block downfield and power. That was one of his strengths last year, the power.
He's a compact 5'9", packs a lot of punch with those legs. He stands 232 pounds. seems to be in good condition in his 0-6 opener. Kyle looking to pass, complete to the tight end, Greg Olson, down at the 28-yard line for the Hurricanes.
That time they ran the triple seam route there. 4 receivers going up the hashes. Kyle makes a good decision, caught Florida A&M in the zone. Picked him apart there. Good completion to Greg Olson.
Olson in the first half had 2 catches for 33 yards. The 2 catches matching his total against Florida State Monday night. The tackle made by Ernest Williams, but not before Miami picks up another first down inside the Rattlers 30 on its opening drive of the second half. There's Ty Moss up the middle, showing the leg strength again. It takes 2 defenders to bring him down inside the 20-yard line.
Miami going obviously with the hard count there. About the 3rd time in the game they've caught Florida A&M offside. Watch the ball. There it is. Hard count. Good cut here by Moss, showing the ability to pick him up and put him down right there. And look at the power. You're not going to bring him down. One player is not going to bring him down.
You heard the call in the background. Obviously, decline was the offsides penalty on the big gain of 9 yards. Tyrone Moss, a little ginger. That might be psychological, at least you hope so, after returning from the surgery to his left knee, and another player down for Florida A&M.
That might be a cramp. I've been there before when that leg straightens out. Tyrone Moss, talk about coming back from a knee injury. Yeah, he's going to be a little ginger. I mean, that's human nature. You know, he's not going to come out here and explode downfield. He's going to test himself out, and that's what this game is all about.
Plenty of smiles here. The Canes leading Florida A&M 21-3. An injured player on the last gain of 9 yards. It's the defensive end, and a good one for Florida A&M. Has scored it off the field was Tyrone McGriff. There's a pitch out. Tyrone Moss left side. Plenty of running room across the 10-5, close to the goal line, and it is a call of a touchdown. And that is another Hurricanes touchdown by a running back, the 3rd different tailback to punch it across.
Miami definitely had him strung out on that side. Was able to pull a guard or tackle around and lead Moss into the end zone. Here it is right here. 2-3 blockers out in front. Moss shows he still has that speed, and he's just not going to make that tackle. Not one-on-one. They just seal off that outside. Now, what happens to a team like Florida A&M at this point, they get a little tired. You know, all the energy was spent in the first half. The adrenaline, everything of playing a big game against a high-powered offense. Now it's time to mash them.
He's back. Tyrone Moss takes it across the goal line. Canes scored on their first 3 possessions of the first half, and they score on their opening drive here after the break to take a commanding 28-3 lead over the Rattlers.
Due to time constraints, we now move forward in the action.
Florida A&M after the timeout back on the offense. 1 receiver in motion to the right. The quarterback Campbell goes out of the backfield, and a move is made. And a fumble as well. The ball is loose, picked up by the Hurricanes and recovered by Miami. Up with it, Eric Moncourt. A takeaway for the Hurricanes after the completion to the Rattlers tailback.
Just tried to do a little bit too much there, the Rattlers tailback. And Miami's a swarming defense, always able to make plays. Those defensive linemen are taught to run towards the football. You know, I remember back in the early days, maybe in the 70s and 80s, before defensive linemen just stood there once they didn't get the pass rush. Now these guys are so athletic, they're taught to run and look for the football, and they make a lot of plays downfield.
A warm reception back on the Hurricanes sideline for the sophomore Eric Moncourt.
I figure we got a review.
Last year, Moncourt, as a redshirt freshman, the Sporting News named him a freshman All-American. In the right place at the right time as you get a look at the Rattlers' second-year head coach, former Hurricane defensive tackle, the 53-year-old Reuben Carter, brought in to replace Billy Joe last year. Hard to believe, Lamar. This is his first trip back to the Orange Bowl, where he excelled as a player in 32 years. Excellent field position for the Canes to start their second drive of the second half after the fumble recovery by Moncourt. There's pressure. Kyle Wright going to run for it. and wisely throws it out of bounds. Really the first time this evening that Kyle Wright was under such duress. In the backfield was a linebacker. Michael McMillan came on a blitz.
He was doing his Buster Davis impression.
Right. First down, thrown out of bounds as Wright was under pressure, and he hands off. Javaris James is on his feet, makes a cut at the 15, 10 out of bounds inside the 5-yard line as the true freshman Javaris James putting on a show tonight.
Got a little wiggle. Got a lot of wiggle. See now, let's say for example, this game was the first game. He would be ready for Florida State.
Well, it seems the Seminoles and the Hurricanes both in agreement as far as wanting to move that game back on the schedule as they will last year. I'm telling you, how do you not make those comparisons to his first cousin Edgerrin?
Good cut there. Nice cut.
And here's James again, going to make it his second touchdown of the night. Javaris James points upwards. And the Hurricanes now with a lead of 34-3 thanks to the freshman tailback Javaris James. Making it look easy, and give credit to that Hurricane offensive line, a point of emphasis as we see another injured Florida A&M player.
You know what happens in the second half, later in the fourth quarter, the bigger guys can lean on the smaller guys, and that's what they're doing right now. Right now, the offensive line of Miami is just leaning and pushing the guys you see right there, just pushing them around right now.
Shepard, the injured Rattler, some second-string offensive lineman part of the mix as well. And John Petty caps off the scoring drive for Miami with the extra point. 9:28 to play in the third quarter. It's the Hurricanes now leading Florida A&M 35-3. 35-3 our score here in the Orange Bowl. The Miami Hurricanes leading the Florida A&M Rattlers. 9:28 to play in the third quarter. Brian Monroe kicks it off. This one's going to bounce. And they'll throw the flag out of bounds and a penalty on the kickoff for Brian Monroe.
Well, you know, it's Brian's going to, once in a game, he's going to give you that. A shank or maybe a kick out of bounds. Yeah, a little heartache. But
a little more stress than you need.
That's something he's definitely going to have to improve upon. Maybe they're trying to do the directional kicks, but he's going to have to get better at that.
You're going to have a lot of ups and downs with Monroe handling the kickoffs and the punts against Florida State. He had a career-long 68-yard punt, but the consistency, again, is what seems to be missing with the senior Brian Monroe.
His opening punt actually set Florida State up for their first score, the field goal. A bad punt, maybe 25 yards.
Florida A&M back on the offense and a cut left. Managing to get back to the 35-yard line is Anthony Edwards. Edwards again came on strong in the opener last week. The loss to Delaware State, 87 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, earning the start over the junior Joe Lawson tonight as Edwards makes his way back to the sideline. Tough running, a tough sledding for Florida A&M all night.
Well, it's going to be tough to run against Miami. That's one of the things. They do have a nice run defense along with a great secondary. A lot of young guys, a lot of young faces back there in that secondary.
We'll see plenty of youngsters and reserves, you would think, for the Hurricanes as this play just does get off for the Rattlers. Going to look deep. There's the pass. He's got a man down there. Back at the Canes, 25-yard line. The catch is made, and a beautiful pass thrown by Camel. And the receiver is the junior Willie Hayward in stride and into Hurricanes territory. Miami
Northwestern product. Whew. He's played in this place before in the Soul Bowl against Jackson, Miami Jackson. So he's probably got a lot of family here. This time, quarterback for Florida A&M gets a lot of time, and he's able to lob this thing up there. The wind's behind him. They get behind that secondary, and, you know, that's how it goes. As soon as you talk about how great they are, something happens.
Both cornerbacks beaten, Glenn Sharp and Randy Phillips. And there you see 4 receivers on the bottom of your screen. A screen is set up for the Rattlers. Kaiser, Didn't have anything doing on the left side. Now he's going to try the right side of the field. He's got room and blockers out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Speed is shown by the Boyd Anderson product, Roosevelt Kaiser, who's got his group of cheering fans in the Orange Bowl tonight. So 2 big plays in a row for Florida A&M, but unfortunately another man down.
Just a breakdown. They throw a screen out. He has blockers, and I really think this was set up to be a double pass. You saw before the receiver went down and blocked, and then kind of ran to the corner, and he even set up the throw.
Brandon Merriweather, LeVon Ponder finally met up with Roosevelt Kaiser. We'll hear how loud the fans get in the closed end of the Orange Bowl, trying to keep the Rattlers out of the end zone. So far, a Wesley Taylor field goal of 44 yards, accounting for their only scoring, but an impressive drive here in the third. It's Campbell rolling left, has a man in the end zone. It is a touchdown for Florida A&M and Roosevelt Kaiser. What a drive for the Rattlers. The big pass play to Willie Hayward and Kaiser on back-to-back plays. And now it's a 35-9 ball game and a moral victory at the very least for Florida A&M, scoring its first touchdown of the night.
A delayed route here. They roll out to the quarterback, and what Kaiser did, he delayed before he ran out into the flat. They define a hole, settle down. Nice throw. Nice throw and catch. 2 defenders, Anthony Reddick and Randy Phillips, split the seam. The kick by Taylor splits the uprights. We've got a 35-10 score now in favor of the Hurricanes as you take another look at the Rattlers touchdown here in the Orange Bowl. Touchdowns on each side here in the third quarter. Why the long face? The Hurricanes with the lead, 35-10. Florida A&M the last to punch it in. 7:38 to play in the third quarter. The kickoff by Wesley Taylor goes towards the left side, and a return set up for Johnson on the hash mark. Across the 20, tripped up to the 23-yard line is where the Hurricanes will take over. Florida A&M scoring drive, 5 plays and 55 yards. It was a quick one. The 7-yard touchdown pass from Campbell to Kaiser, but the big play during the drive was the pass play to Hayward. To Florida State's offense, Florida A&M's offense, this is going to give them some confidence as far as later on down the road in the MEAC.
Speaking of the MEAC, there's one of the top receivers in the conference, Roosevelt Kaiser. Not the first time he's played here in the Orange Bowl as a collegian. Florida A&M battled FIU. The Orange Bowl Classic, Orange Blossom Classic rather. Tyrell Moss shaking one defender, showing that strength that made him one of the premier runners in the ACC prior to the injury last year.
That's vintage Tyrell Moss. With those legs churning, the little. Here he is, starting it off. Good run here. You see, one thing he does, he lowers the boom on you in the secondary. And this is the touchdown. Good blocking here. And once he gets inside the 5, you're just not going to stop him.
Gain of 8 from Moss. Rattlers with 8 in the box. Not much doing on this running play. Tyrell Moss again, the projected starter, of course, but suspended for the opener against Florida State. There's his numbers thus far, including the touchdown. 6.5 to play in the third quarter. Making his way back from the torn ACL. It happened in the victory at Virginia Tech last November the 5th. And one of the concerns you mentioned with Tyrell Moss throughout his career, he has at times battled the bulge.
Right.
But he appears to be in pretty good shape here to get things started in his senior season.
It's pretty good so far.
Shuffling along the defensive line for the Rattlers. Some pressure up the middle. That's where the pass goes. It's complete for the Hurricanes at the 45-yard line. Kyle Wright finds his backup tight end, Dalian Farr. That's actually Kirby Freeman back in the game for Miami.
Miami showed a different set there. He emptied the backfield. No running backs. All receivers and tight ends.
Freeman a chance to redeem himself after the interception thrown late in the second quarter. It set up a Florida A&M field goal for Wesley Taylor. Farr, the backup tight end to Olsen. 3 or 4 tight ends on this Hurricane team who should make an impact this year. That one is complete for the Hurricanes and battling his way towards the Florida A&M 40-yard line. We'll get our first look this season at number 87, Khalil Jones, a backup wide receiver, and a sophomore with some pretty good size out of Miami.
I like Khalil Jones. I talked to him extensively, as a freshman, and this year. And he's a hard worker. You see him out before the games, getting his sweat on out there, trying to get better, running routes. I told him one of the things you got to do is be able to run routes, to be as big as he is, almost like a Yatil Green. He's going to have a great career here, I think.
And off Tyrone Moss. He's hit from behind and towards the 31-yard line. Khalil Jones making his way back. The wide receiver position from a sprained right ankle. Talked about the knee injury and the recovery of Tyrone Moss. So here in the second half, your team in command on the scoreboard. You're looking to get some players more confidence and more comfortable as you head into Louisville next week.
Well, you got to give them an opportunity to get it off on Florida A&M. I mean, that's what you got to do. Unfortunately, a lot of those guys got to play last week against Florida State, so they should be ready now.
With a delayed handoff. This time it's Jones up the middle, has plenty of running room. Actually, that's number 21, the backup tailback, Darian Thomas. So much depth at that running back position. You almost have to feel some compassion for guys like Thomas and even in the backfield, guys like Javaris James. You got to wonder what lies ahead with the return of Moss along with the veteran Charlie Jones.
Well, I'll tell you what lies ahead. A solid backfield. If one guy goes down, you got a boatload of talent.
Teron Thomas, 5'9" sophomore out of Gramercy, Louisiana. Played in 11 games last year. On his feet this time across the 10 and finally dragged down towards the 5-yard line. This has been a night for the running backs. No question about it. Up and down the depth chart for the Canes.
Yeah, as a receiver, this is not what you want to see, but you see the move here. Watch the footwork. Bop, bop, bop. Gotcha. Oh, got him again. That's nice moves there. You can tell they've been working on the ropes.
Rich Olson, the offensive coordinator, says he likes what he's seen of these backup running backs, including Thomas. Also mentioned depth at the position. Andrew Johnson, a junior out of Pittsburgh. We'll see if he gets a shot here in the second half. They send a man in motion. Play action. Freeman tosses cleanly out of the backfield. And that one in the end zone. A touchdown for the fullback, Jarrell Mabry. Tailbacks, fullbacks alike into pay dirt for the Canes all night. And it's now 41-10 Miami.
I tell you what, we're very fortunate on this play not to get a clip call on Farr here. You'll see it. Sometimes it happens like that when you just want to hit a guy. You see it right here. Almost. Ooh, close.
Little nudge.
A little nudge. See, he's complaining.
So Rich Olson incorporating the fullback out of the backfield. The freshman out of Pittsburgh, Jarrell Mabry, in the first touchdown pass of the year. The backup quarterback, Kirby Freeman. Petty busy again. Another point after. Freeman congratulated by his offensive coordinator, Rich Olson.
Due to time constraints, we now move forward in the action.
You think back to all the quarterbacks in UM history. That's something that's never been here.
It's true.
A running quarterback. We've had so many drop-back quarterbacks and quarterbacks that couldn't move but just throw the football. He's going to add a new wrinkle here.
Monroe's punt is brought back, and that's Roosevelt Kaiser. And he brings it back to the 31-yard line. You think of Vinny,
yeah.
You think of Bernie, you think of Jim Kelly,
Toretta.
You don't think of speed.
No, oh no. Toretta, Erickson, list can go on. Dorsey.
Eric Kirchenberg made the special teams tackle for Miami. Talking Football returns with new hosts and a new attitude. Don't miss all the engaging discussions, player interviews, and live viewer calls. That's right here on CSS Talkin' Football. Fourth quarter underway here in the Orange Bowl. So much criticism against these Hurricanes coming off the loss to Florida State, as mentioned Monday night, including the fact that heading into the game, the Canes hadn't scored in the second half of 4 straight.
Holding by the return team during the kick. Number 48. It's 10 yards from the end of the kick. First down.
Going to move the Rattlers back towards their end zone. So you have those woeful scoring numbers after halftime for the Hurricanes in recent games. Add to that only 7 points in the fourth quarter in the past 6 games. But this man, Larry Coker, says don't look back. We've got a clean slate here in 2006. Need to correct the errors from that loss to Florida State and move forward.
No, you know what I would like to see now? Some of the younger talent out on the field. You still see a lot of starters out here. Beeson's still out there. Merriweather's still out there.
There's another new formation. A couple of tight ends in for the Rattlers. Another deep pass.
Goodness.
Man open towards midfield. It's caught. And Florida A&M with a gain there of about 38 yards.
I watched that route the whole way. The slant and go.
And once again, Cabell spots his star receiver, Roosevelt Kaiser. We'll update his numbers, which continue to inflate here at the expense of the Hurricanes secondary. 83 yards.
Well, Bruce Johnson is getting his hands full going against Kaiser. He ran a slant and go on him, and the safety bid on the pump fake, and it's just one-on-one coverage back there.
Prior to the season, Kaiser named one of Division I AA's top.
Substitution on the offense. Number 81, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Named one of the top 20 receivers in Division I AA by the Sports Network.
You'll see it right here. He's going to give him the pump fake. Bah, got him. And he just lobs it up there. Safety bit on the play. Slant and go. Watch that route the whole way. Good route there by Kaiser. He's putting on his own show, making a name for himself, giving the pro scouts something to see.
Look at this play. A botched reverse attempt, smothering the football to retain possession for Florida A&M is the starting wide receiver, Willie Hayward.
If this play is not botched, this could go for big. Hit him right in the chest.
Anthony Edwards with the toss, tailback to receiver. Once again, this offensive creativity, the choreography of which matches what we saw at halftime with the Marching 100. A good move by the University of Miami Athletic Department, the administrators, to chip in financially to bring down the Marching 100. Some of the loudest cheers we heard tonight, Lamar, at halftime.
That's right. They always put on a performance.
42-10, out of the shotgun, a run attempt, and this ball is loose in the backfield. Campbell dropped it, still loose. Look at it squirt around. The Hurricanes have 3 men there, and finally, the second fumble recovery of the night for the Hurricanes, and this one is Baraka Atkins, the co-captain out of Sarasota.
I saw an opportunity for a scoop and score there, and I think at least 3 Miami players saw that same opportunity. Here it is right here. Uh-oh. A lot of perspiration out there.
Let's count the defenders.
Here we go.
See,
scoop and
here's
score.
Number 5.
Battle
6,
over. There
7,
it is.
8. A
Now,
hot potato. Baraka Atkins passed up an opportunity to move to the pros to return for his senior season. His second game here as a senior includes a fumble recovery, and the Hurricanes will take over a first down from the Rattlers' 39-yard line. Freeman remains in the game. A pitch out to Thomas running left, has blockers. 35, 32, 31-yard line before Thomas loses his helmet. We'll get a good look.
That's the same sweep that Tyrone Moss scored on a little earlier. You know, something I've noticed about college football, I've never seen so many guys lose their helmets, you know?
You did it voluntarily after a big catch.
Yeah, I don't
but
know.
this is a different
I don't know what
situation.
kind of oil they put on their chin strap. I needed that back in the days. But you see so many guys losing their helmets out here. I don't know if they cheapen the.
Did you practice that?
Yeah.
Yourself?
That was an acquired skill.
Horace Copeland. I mean, nobody did it as good as you.
Exactly. I tried to argue with Eric Red. He said he invented that, but I said, Eric, I'm older than you.
You put the NCAA to work, Lamar. Imagine all the billable hours there in their headquarters after watching game film of the Hurricanes back in the 80s and 90s.
I just like the fact that I know some of those rules were brought on by myself. you know, and my teammates.
It was well before Larry Coker arrived as the offensive coordinator for Butch Davis prior to being anointed the head coach. Coker, 4th all-time, and quite a list of coaches to pass through Coral Gables as well. Play action, and this one's whistled dead.
I think a false start on the tight end there.
Prior to the snap, false start. 41 offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So Kirby Freeman, the backup to Kyle Wright, struggled a little bit with the interception in the 2nd quarter. And here's the touchdown maker, the minivan, Jarrell Mabry. Kirby Freeman contemplated transferring in the offseason. Thought he might not get a chance to play until his senior season behind Kyle Wright, but the arrival of Rich Olson as well as the new quarterbacks coach Todd Berry led Freeman to reconsider. In fact, he's so committed to the school, Lamar, he had the tattoo of the U put on his back. And there's a completion and quite a move by Sam Shields to juke the defender before he's brought down by Antoine Moore.
I'm sure he's going to get an ovation for the fact he's making a catch. And that's what I told him, talking to him earlier before the game started. Most important thing you have to realize, you got to make the catch. That's the important thing. It's not about the run. It's about securing the catch. And once you're able to do that, worry about everything else after that.
Again, put yourself in the shoes of an 18-year-old true freshman, a few months removed from his high school prom, making his debut against the Florida State Seminoles and having a Kyle Wright fastball thrown at you with the game on the line.
A lot of pressure, homie.
Short gain, and there is another man on the depth chart at running back for Miami, the aforementioned Andrew Johnson. So we have seen Charlie Jones way back in the 1st half, and then the freshman Javaris James prior to the arrival making his debut Tyrell Moss. All 3 of those guys scored touchdowns, Jones, James, and Moss. Here in the 2nd half we've seen Deron Thomas, and the number 5 running back is Andrew Johnson. They're going to go to an empty backfield on 2nd down. Rattlers come with the blitz. And this one is handed off, and a spin move by Johnson, dragging the defender across the 15-yard line. You get a look as well at some backup offensive linemen. A.J. Trump is in the game there, number 70.
You got to ask yourself, how many more are they going to bring in this ball game as far as running backs? I mean, the 6th-string running back, Leonard Conley, or maybe
still have eligibility, Lamar? Stanley Shakespeare, perhaps?
I mean, Stephen McGuire. I mean, who else is left back there? I mean, 5 quality running backs.
For all those who question the recruiting, the cupboard is full at the position.
At that position.
Another delayed handoff. Andrew Johnson, a junior out of Pittsburgh, like Kirby Freeman, considered transferring because of a lack of playing time. Nice to see him getting some shots here in the 4th quarter as we approach 8 minutes to play.
Now the question is, do you give your field goal kicker an opportunity to practice making a field goal, or do you pour it on this team? I mean, here it is, you're up 42-10. Do you want to score again? I mean, that's the question. I mean, you're outmanning a smaller team. You don't want to blow them out, truly.
You don't want to rub it in too much, but you got to work on your game, and the Canes will get a 4th and 1 opportunity and take advantage of it. Deron Thomas. You know, we spoke, Lamar, as you get a look at Larry Coker, and he's coming off a loss. You know what? As much as you say you don't want to humiliate the opponent here, you got things to work on.
His job's on the line. You know, unfortunately, you know, that's just the way it is in South Florida. I like Coach Coker. I think he's the right man for this job. You know, unfortunately, playing down here and being down here in South Florida, there's a lot of pressure on you to win. I don't care if you're Pat Riley. If you lose in the season, they're going to make you get out of it sooner or later.
Look at the strength. Kirby Freeman stays on his feet before he's finally knocked down and the helmet jarred loose. But first time Florida A&M is able to bring down a Canes quarterback. Freeman did not make it easy. You get back to Larry Coker just a few days after that embarrassing loss to LSU in the Peach Bowl. He dismisses 4 assistants, some of them longtime coaches here with the university, Art Kehoe, Don Solinger, and others. So,
you know, there were a lot of questions about, you know, why he did that. And a lot of people believe, you know, it was to save his own job. Sometimes you have to make decisions based upon, you know, those guys have been here a long time, but it's either them or me, and he chose, hey, it was them.
Olson, Berry, Panunzio, Mosley, Palermo, all new assistants under Coker here in 2006. Again, strength shown at the running back position by Deron Thomas back in the game after we saw glimpses of Andrew Johnson. The Hurricanes are now inside the 10-yard line, trying to add another touchdown.
You know, and we go back to Coker and some of those big games, you know, losing the LSU game, losing the Georgia Tech game here, losing to Florida State here in their own stadium. Those are huge losses. But what you have to understand is that this is Miami, and the first thing they care about is winning. You know, that's only his 10th loss. I mean, he has a great record as a head coach, but unfortunately, this is South Florida, and all they care about is winning.
What have you done for me lately?
Exactly.
Slant pattern. Ryan Hill, the true freshman, apparently makes the grab, immediately wrapped up. Larry Coker, in his 6th season with the Hurricanes, began his head coaching career taking over for Butch Davis, winning his first 24 games. Ryan Hill had some playing time last week against Florida State, the converted cornerback. 4th and 2, and how about Ryan Hill? He's telling the coach to go for it as a true freshman. That's Lamar moxie, is it not?
I don't know. I think that, you know, it's good to see these kids in a game like this getting an opportunity, but you got to understand this is Florida A&M. Will you be doing that next week against Louisville?
Hurricanes going for it on 4th down. They need 2 yards, and I don't know that they got it. It's Deron Thomas running behind a lot of backup offensive linemen. 73, Cyrum Wims among those, trying to move the pile. And it's going to be a turnover on downs. Hurricanes fail to capitalize on the 4th and 2.
Well, here it is right here. They tried to score up the gut. Too much penetration there as the center actually got drove back into the backfield, made the running back cut. That was number 70.
Back in the closed end of the Orange Bowl at its 2-yard line, the Florida A&M offense. Plenty of reserves on the field for Miami as the starters begin to set their sights on next week's opponent. We'll talk more as this 4th quarter winds down about the 13th ranked Cardinals of Louisville. Next up on the docket for Miami. First things first, and Campbell will hand it off. A near safety unless they get him in the end zone, and they do. How about that on 1st down for the Miami Hurricanes? A safety and 2 points for the defense. That's one way to help out the offense, as mentioned earlier. Number 93 for the Miami Hurricanes is a backup defensive tackle, Dwayne Hendricks.
Well, Florida A&M, the defensive line, the offensive line, good penetration there by Hendricks. He almost knocked that guy to the stands there.
Anthony Edwards had nowhere to go. So Dwayne Hendricks, a sophomore,
gave him a shoulder check.
6'4", 280 out of New Jersey, introducing himself to the fans here at home.
Gave him a shoulder check there. A shimmy, looked like he was playing hockey.
You know, you always have to hesitate on a safety call because you never know about the forward momentum.
Yeah.
That one was
that
pretty clear.
That was a no-brainer.
Well, the safety for Hendricks, add 2 to the Hurricanes side of the board. It's now 44-10. 5:03 to play here in regulation. And the kick goes back to the Hurricanes at the 20-yard line. It's Johnson, has some room across the 40, bangs into one defender, and towards the 45-yard line. Fans staying up later than their bedtime here in the Orange Bowl. Plenty to cheer about. 44-10 Hurricanes after the 2 points scored by the defense. Bounce back game for the Miami Hurricanes. A short week of preparations coming off the 13-10 loss to Florida State. Florida A&M Rattlers, of course, had that nothing-to-lose attitude heading in, and I saw glimpses of some very fine play by the Rattlers at times tonight.
But what happens? It catches up with you. I mean, the adrenaline's flowing and everything like that. You know what I want to talk about? You know, you talk about Kirby Freeman and the tattoo. He can't go anywhere now. He's stuck here now.
But yet you see so many rock stars that have their wives' names or girlfriends tattooed, and then they break up the next week.
Yeah.
Not quite the same in college football.
Let's not go there.
It's different with the U.
I was a victim of that myself. So, but I do have a U tattoo, and that's not going anywhere.
That stays with you forever, right, Lamar?
Forever. That's right. The ex-wife might be gone, but the tattoo stays forever.
The women, they come and go, but the U is with you forever. That's the message for Lamar Thomas. Inside 4 minutes here. 2 backs for Miami's quarterback, and it's a new one. And another spin move, and another spin move. Spin cycle for Thomas. And Duran has a big game. New quarterback for the Miami Hurricanes into the game, and a non-scholarship quarterback as well, as you get a look at Duran Thomas. And before we talk about the QB, let's take a look.
This is what you call the 0 button on PlayStation 2. The spin. Watch the spin. One. Ooh, that was nice. Ooh, that was even better. Great run. Might have to use him on college football.
Matt Pirelli is the new quarterback for the Hurricanes. Non-scholarship third-string signal collar. Another handoff. This one, Johnson. Look at that defender go flying. And another one carried on his back towards the 5-yard line. These guys are fired up. Once again, the running back stealing the show for the Hurricanes.
Who was that? It's another one?
Andrew Johnson, the junior out of Pittsburgh. After the spin moves by Thomas, it's nothing but pure power for Johnson.
Where were these guys last on this week? We needed them. But this is good practice for Miami. The running game is back. And watch the power here. He lowers the bam. Oh, he's gonna feel that one tomorrow.
Free safety Ronaldo Russell questioning his location right now after taking that hit.
He's Batman.
A passing situation, and it's caught. Mabry just short of the goal line. His knee was down before the ball came loose. So
maybe tried to make it 2 touchdowns against Florida A&M. You know, the last time that happened, 2 touchdowns receiving against Florida A&M. It was me, buddy. 2 touchdowns receiving against Florida A&M.
Lamar Thomas.
That's right.
His name etched all over the record books
all over
for the Miami Hurricanes.
All over.
Who lead this series 5-1 over Florida A&M all time. Matt Pirelli had a chance. Let's see if he gets another passing opportunity to put his name into the record books for the Hurricanes. Just short was Mabry. Approaching 2 minutes. Ball on the 2-yard line and plunging into the end zone. The Miami Hurricanes, and the touchdown is scored not through the air but on the ground. And look at that grin for Matt Pirelli.
Walk on, getting his opportunity.
Greg Olson there to greet him. You know that's a thrill. Matt Pirelli doesn't even know if he's going to snip the field
from this point on.
Smiles all over the sideline.
He gave his own number. That was not supposed to be a quarterback sneak.
Can you blame the guy?
Nah.
The Hurricanes might have lost some potential recruits at the quarterback position in the midst of all the coaching changes made in the offseason.
Illegal substitution. Number 76 on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
That'll move
Try for point.
the kicker back on the point after conversion. And so Pirelli, while we joke, is in fact the third-string quarterback, and it's not unheard of for a guy at that position on the depth chart to be called upon.
Wow.
That is not Kirby Freeman, by the way.
I don't think he's going anywhere either.
You lose your right to transfer allegiances once you cover your back with something like that. They move the kicker back, no difference. The point after is good. Matt Pirelli has a memory to hold on to for a lifetime. Inside 2 minutes to play, Miami over the half-century mark, a 51-10 lead. John Petty watching the action from the sideline. Backup kicker for the Miami Hurricanes, Darren Daly. And no backup there. That's Roosevelt Kaiser. He has seen extensive playing time both on special teams and as a receiver. Miami's latest scoring drive capped off by Matt Pirelli. Again, the non-scholarship third-string quarterback behind Wright and Freeman. Kyle Wright has long since been removed from this game. You get a good look at Larry Coker emptying the bench here, and soon he will.
Personal foul, 84, Miami, 15 yards, first down.
Miami's Richard Gordon penalized on the kickoff. Coker and the Canes, now Lamar, they set their sights on a very tough opponent, one that'll actually be out for revenge. The Louisville Cardinals suffered a heartbreaking loss here in the Orange Bowl back in October of 2004, lost a big lead, and Miami was ranked number 3 at the time, held on 41-38 as we see Florida A&M on the offense, and a nice run out of the backfield there, a guy we've seen throughout the evening, the starting running back Anthony Edwards. The Cardinals moved to 2-0, shutting out Temple in Philadelphia 62-0. Entered that game with a ranking of number 13, and these Hurricane fans will be watching Saturday afternoon 3:30 from Louisville, Miami and the Cardinals, and that should be a good one.
I know I'll be glued in front of the TV.
Brian Brom actually played in that game here in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
Now a junior. He played as a freshman, replacing the injured Stephon LaFleurs.
And he actually played well. Had an opportunity to win the ball game.
Gave the Cardinals back the lead, directing an 80-yard touchdown drive, but it was Frank Gore who won it with his game-winning touchdown run less than a minute to go. So plenty of work ahead for Larry Coker, but they're going to feel good about this one as the final seconds begin to evaporate. 51-10, a game you expected Miami to control, and that's what they did throughout the night. Final play coming up for the Rattlers.
Why not go deep on this play, Rattler?
Blue-collar effort by this Florida A&M offense, and Campbell the quarterback, and he won't get this play off. Like a delay of game.
Dead ball, delay, 16 offense, 5 yards.
Last year, Deron Thomas gained 150 yards. He did that in 11 games. He hit 105 in less than a half of action tonight.
In 11 carries.
But again, something you expected when you size up the tail of the tape between the defensive linemen for the Rattlers, the offensive linemen of the Hurricanes. This game was won at the point of attack. That'll do it, fans. 51-10. Larry Coker and the Hurricanes dominate the Division I AA opponents in the Orange Bowl.
The preceding program has been a presentation of CSS, your source for Southeast sports.